Yo, what's happening? This is Late Night CJ, and I'm back once again. Now, Keke Palmer was on Club Shay Shay and created a humongous uproar because she spoke on 50-50 dating and how it worked for her parents. And of course, she went some ways and he went some ways. Well, what if she not interested? What if I'm not interested in him? Well, what if he not interested? 50-50 dating is a misnomer. 50-50 relationships do not exist. 50-50 relationships are usually brought up by the person that's bringing the least amount of money to the situation. Now, let me break down why 50-50 relationships and her situation will not work or could not work, okay? When people bring up 50-50 relationships, and the ones who tend to stand on the 50-50 or how it works out in a relationship, it typically comes from the person with the most amount of money. Now, the person that makes the most amount of money is generally, now hear me out when I say this, required to do the least in their mind. Because no matter where this discussion goes, there's always, well, I bring this, well, I buy that, well, I bought this, well, if it wasn't for what I make, this is where we would be. So they use the money or the amount of money that they make in order to manipulate their lack of intangible giving in the relationship. And that's why I say there is no 50-50. Think about this. If I cook, I clean, I take care of the kids, I take care of the house, I do all the managing, even though you make the money, I do the managing of it. I make sure this bill is paid. I make sure that's paid on time. I make sure everything is current. All you have to do is earn it. Would you say that's a 50-50 relationship? Of course you would, because you're the one earning the money. Now, if we were to flip it and I expected you to do that, yes, you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and all those watching, you'd be like, hell no. I ain't doing all that. And that's how people manipulate a 50-50 relationship. Let's be honest. Not everybody is capable of giving exactly the same amount that the other person is. Say I'm a tremendous cook, which I am pretty nice in the kitchen. Is it right for me to expect you to cook just as good as me, even though you are not as good and don't have the passion to be so? Say I'm not as nurturing as you. Is it fair that I have to be this and meet your expectation of nurturing in order for this to be a 50-50? Because if I'm not meeting you, then this is not a... Do you get where I'm going with this? That's why relationships are compared to yin and yang. One person's strengths is another person's weaknesses. And another person's weaknesses might be the other person's strengths. So you are always at some point lopsided. But what's missing in this is not a competition. When you say 50-50 relationships, you're making it a competition. I put in this much, you have to put in this much. I put in this much in this area, I need you to put in this much in this area as well, even if it's not your strong suit. Now let's put it in basketball terms. Say I'm Steph Curry and you are Kwame Brown. No disrespect to the brother. But is it fair to expect Kwame Brown to shoot just as good as Steph Curry? And is it fair for us to expect Steph Curry to guard the big 7-foot, 300-pound monsters that be running around down there in the key? You see how we bring different things to the table. So instead of competing against each other, how about we just appreciate what the other one brings to the table and realize that instead of us being like this, how about we be more like this? This is Late Night CJ. Like, comment, and subscribe. And there is no 50-50. Tell a friend.